So very, very good morning, and I hope you guys, how many of you didn't have breakfast today? See, that's the first mistake. That's the first failure to a startup. Absolutely. The first failure to a startup is when you don't have your breakfast. How many of you didn't have sex yesterday?
Come on.
Yeah, look at it. Look around. This is the second failure because you don't want to communicate openly. Right? So two things you got to learn. You got to eat first, have enough sex.
We all
right?
had.
I'm sorry?
We all had, that's why we didn't raise it.
No, but you didn't. So, alright, so that's the third failure for a startup, that you want to defend yourself. Thank you so much. Alright, so my name is Muki, and I want to thank Pepper Square because without that I won't be here. I will not have enough time to, just faff around. And all we do is digital, we don't know anything else. We're an interface design company. So that's about Pepper Square. Can you go to the next slide? Okay, how many of you know what is the structure of Startup Saturday? Quickly, I don't want too many questions. I don't want too large a question. It has to be very fast. Okay, there are only 3 reasons for a Startup Saturday. If you ever have you ever read it in the Bangalore's page? It says that the first one is 1 hour demo, 1 hour of Gyan, 1 hour of network, right? So here I'm going to give you Gyan. You know what is Gyan? Is go on yapping about nothing. So that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. Right? So next slide. So I try to make it as simple as possible. This is one of the 2 slides which will be too much because PPT you should never have so many slides. You should have so many points. You should have only 1 point, right? So that's something you have to learn from Steve Jobs. So this is a quick personal history about myself so that you know where I am, what I've done in life. So I'm a first generation entrepreneur. My dad and mom never had any clue about what was business. And I'm neither an MBA nor studied in Ivy League school. So I'm not from Stanford, Harvard, IIT, nothing. So I'm from a very small town. I was born in Bangalore, brought up in a place called Mayiladuthurai in Tamil Nadu, which is way back out there. It's a very nice place, pretty hot. Language barrier. I studied in mathematics in Tamil, right? So which means my English is as new as maybe 19 years. All right, and no financial support, and like many of you here, and self-doubt. I don't know about other of you guys. I think you are all much more confident than me, but always self-doubt, and no chance of a girlfriend. Never. I've never had a chance. I think very, very few women looked up to me and said that, oh, hey, you seem to be interesting, so let's go out, right? So it never happened. And that's the reason I grow my hair now. So, template for failures. If you open up in 2012 Microsoft PowerPoint, there will be a Muki template failure. So you can open up that and you can start working on it. So I have failed 5 times in mathematics. So in my 12th standard, so I didn't pass. So then I came to Bangalore, started working on it. 7 times I failed in my earlier ventures. So this is just a brief about me, right? So I'm going to make it much more interesting, right? So what is interesting? Next one is about my learnings, right? Because I cannot talk about for you guys, I cannot talk about what somebody else said. The easiest thing, the most unique is to talk about yourself. So I was talking to a friend of mine when I was coming down, and she asked me a question. So I have a self-doubt. So what do I do? So I said that you got to internalize it. The most important thing is each one of us are unique. You got to internalize that uniqueness about yourself. The moment you do that, you don't have to faff around. Because you are strong, you have a strong foothold, you have a strong foundation, you speak your heart. You don't have to worry about anything, right? So the greatest example is, you will see in my last slide. So I didn't ask you to go there. That's another failure for a startup. You jump too fast. Alright? So this is the first one. Die a virgin or experience it, right? So I don't have to explain this to you guys, especially to him, because he understands that. If you are not willing to experience life in every level of forms it's possible, I don't think you'll ever make it. It's not worth living. It's better you hang yourself. We don't need you in this world. Alright? So you got to go experience it. The first thing, break that barrier in front of you. The barrier is you. Right? The barrier is in front of you. It's a thick, solid, bulletproof glass which is transparent, which you can see it but you don't want to accept it. Right? That's the first one. Next one. The second one is fail fast. I love this concept. Right? So you got to fail fast and keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. It's very easy to say it, but it's very hard to try it. Right? So how do you fail fast? It's very simple. You can't wait for the right time to happen. I don't believe personally a concept called right time, right place. I believe in what Kamal Hassan says, wrong time, wrong place. Right? So there is nothing called the right time. The right time will be gone in no second. Right? Next one. So addicted to this new high of challenging the known for the unknown. So this sounds a little philosophical, but I think that, do you know why in India? India is the only country in the world which has got the largest amount of philosophers. Do you know why? Because to be a philosopher, you have to be an indisciplined lot. I didn't say that, Osho said that, and that's true. That's the reason America does not have many philosophers, because they are too disciplined. So I just love to be here. I love India for what it is. Every time I love to go when I go to US, I miss auto. I'm not kidding. I just miss it, right? So don't ask me about the questions of pollution and all that. We're just having fun here. Next one. So I come across various people across the world, right? So right now I'm mentoring close to 30 people. I don't know how I'm doing it, but that's the way it is, because I don't like to say no to the person unless until it's something which I don't know about the industry. Because largely business is driven by finance and people and this and that. So it's not that difficult to grasp it. So what is an idea? Idea is something which you die for. When you debate, when you want to say, go to your girlfriend or a boyfriend and say that, hey, I love you. You've made up your mind, right? So that's an idea you want to die for. You want to live with her or him for a long time. I guess so. But at least you are just taking that step and moving forward, right? If you just come back and tell me, oh, I have this idea. So many people have ideas. I've come across people who have got billions of ideas. Don't bore me with your ideas, because I'm tired of it. What have you done it? So some of the guys who showed beautifully that they've got 3,500 customers, that's what is interesting to me. Because it's very important for you to break that idea generation, then move on and execute it. Execution means everything today, right? It's a very fast environment. Next one. So being a perfectionist, you never finish the job, and then you got to graduate to detail orientation. So I'm still a perfectionist. I at least think that I'm a perfectionist. Many times I don't even send the proposal to the client, right? So maybe you can do that when you attain a state of level where you can afford to do that. So till that time you got to go. What I'm trying to say is, many of you guys, even some of you when you presented, you all talked about technology. But one thing which was missing is that I never understood what is that problem it's going to solve. So you got to make it very simple. I don't care a damn about whether you're doing an Android, iPad, iPhone, HTML5. I don't care a damn. I'm a consumer. I'm sitting in Belgaum trying to use your stuff. So don't preach me these stuff. I don't have time to do that. So that's the greatest learning I've done. As simple as possible. You got to speak, use words very, very carefully. Make it very simple so that it goes. See, you're doing a business, right? The more and more consumers you have, more and more customers you have, it's going to add a greater value to you. So make it very simple. So that's exactly here. So when you start a product, go live. Just go live. Don't worry about beta, all that stuff. Just go live. Those are all concepts, works fantastic in Silicon Valley. It doesn't work here in India. You got to try it. You may realize after 1 year your product is not going to be successful. What would you do? So you got to go faster, fail faster, then don't just keep on working on your idea. Next one. The day you become more than your job, that's it. That's the end of your story. Do you know what does it mean? This is what it means. That your job comes first, then it is you. Your ego can never go above your job. It's the most difficult thing for you guys to do. For example, for entrepreneurs, many of you here, when you start a company, you have a guy who has joined you, then he says that I want to move out. How do you manage it? It's very difficult to keep people together. So, which means ask yourself that what did you offer that person? Whether you have offered the person something worthwhile so that they can stick around. So they are not interested about your idea. You are interested about your idea. Right? Nobody is bothered about. If I start talking about myself and Pepper Story, you're not going to be interested. You are interested in learning something from my failure. all you're bothered about, right? So that's exactly what I mean by that. Make sure that you never go above your job. Your job always comes first. I am a CEO of a company, which means it's my responsibility to make sure that I pay my employees on time. Alright? Next one. System, I always believe that. How many of you guys use GPS here in Bangalore? I'm going to pull up. Oh, can you just raise your hands a little bit more? Why do you use a GPS in Bangalore? Do you need a GPS?
Yeah.
Do you need it?
I don't know a lot of places, so I need it.
Okay. Anybody else?
We are just from Kolkata, so we obviously.
That's a very good, very interesting thought.
You need it because you want to know that the auto rickshaw or that is fully.
Interesting. Exactly. So what has happened is very interesting thought. So what I'm trying to say is that we are about to become so much of gadget oriented. We have lost our own internal navigation system, what we have, which is going on. The reason is people don't know today how to solve the simplest problem. People cannot come on time to work. They cannot. I have to get up, I have to do this, and you've got to do everything every day. Shit happens, it's just a different day. That's about it. It's the same shit, different day. Right? So, internal navigation, what I mean is that you should have that, you've got to listen to yourself. Somebody, when I met recently in the US, said that the decision between whether it is right or wrong, which is failure and success, you know what is that? It's 18 inches. It's between your heart and your head and heart. That's the difference between the decision, success or failure, right? So you got to make sure that you correlate these two. So the boy went and asked Vivekananda that, how do I know that I'm taking the right decision? He said, you got to listen to your instinct. Vivekananda said that. Then it's like, very good. Gadgets overpower him, right? So yeah, I don't think anybody has seen where my phones are ringing. Nothing, no offense here. But I take interest to come here. Me and my friend, Divya came here today. We started off at 8:30 today morning. I picked her up, and then we are here at 9 o'clock. Right? The reason is we wanted to share it with you guys. It's an interest. It's nothing else. There is no gadget. There is no external entity which is talking me. I don't have to be here. It's not just that. I want to be doing something with somebody somewhere help me. So if I can share it along with you guys, and that's about it. I have no expectation on this. So the internal navigation system it's a course correction. You got to constantly keep doing it. Every single day. Every single day you got to do it. You are going to have problems, all kinds of level. You will say that you have a fantastic system. You will say that you have a phenomenal app which is going to make sure that my NDA is going to be signed. But you will not have electricity for heaven's sake. Right? So you cannot do anything at all. So when we started Pepper Square, every day there used to be there used to be power cut for almost 4 hours. We didn't know what to do. So we started doing all the storyboarding, all the, talking to customers and everything. We started doing it at that time because for a phone you don't need electricity. So that's what we do it. So even today in our office we have many phones which are not battery driven, but which are like old ITI phones, which works fantastic. So you got to think like these because you may not be able to afford a UPS, and that's the truth. Right? You don't have money. It's better that you go meet your customers so that you can do much more with that money. Right? So you got to work with something which is very less. Next one. People are most afraid of financial crisis. The first question people ask me, when I ask entrepreneurs, what do you want to do? I want to make money. I think you should become Arshad Mehta. Yeah, absolutely. I'll go join the 2G scam. The moment you think that you're going to make money, you will never make it. Take my word. Financial freedom, there is nothing called financial freedom, it's all in your mind. It's absolutely in your mind. How much is $1 million may be perfect money for me to live in my life, it may not be for him, it may not be for you. Right? So it's very subjective. So if you think that money is going to take you to the next level, no way you can do it. How many of you know Sabir Bhatia? Do you know how much money he made by selling Hotmail? $400 million. See, everybody remembers. How many of you remember that what is the great idea after Hotmail Sabir Bhatia has come out? It is not a great idea. I'm talking about great idea. Nothing. So he doesn't. That's what Sabir says. When I met him, I asked him a question. He says, forget about ideas. He said, I'm not able to find a maid who can cook me Indian food in America. I'm ready to give any money. That's exactly he told me 7.5 years ago when I met him. So it is not about money. Money cannot get everything for you guys. It's the experience, it's the internal satisfaction you have that you're doing something which will make you move on every single day. Next question. Next slide. You don't go to people when you meet them. You're always there. See, I come across this all the time. There are guys in my office don't know who's sitting next door. They don't know. So they go to the person, he or she, when they need something. They are not constantly in touch with them. The biggest challenge entrepreneurs face, especially in India, we don't get in touch with people. I don't need a LinkedIn at all. My LinkedIn hardly has some 150 people or something. I have 2,500 top CEOs in India, in the world, in my list, which includes Steve Ballmer. So when I met Steve, when we won a most creative award from Red Herring in Bombay, that was in 2006-7 when he came here. There were some 250 top CEOs from India. I'm the only guy who went and said hello to him. So it takes that second for you to make that or crack it. And after that he just says hello, yes, thank you. That's all, doesn't matter, but it made me happy. So what you got to do is you got to make that next move. Asking question here is not going to solve your problem. You can always, Ravi was saying, I don't think Ravi is Ravi here? No. Ravi is not here. Okay, Ravi is gone. See, it's good. He's a businessman. So Ravi said that, hey, this is my email ID, you can get in touch. I don't know how many of you will get in touch with me. Right? But when you ask him a question, he doesn't have time. Remember. So you got to ask question which is the right question, you got to think. So before I send a mail to somebody, I look at my email 3 times. Otherwise I don't send it. Right? So you have to take interest, which means people look up to you. People look up to you because you are not wasting somebody else's time. Next one. Look for opportunities to learn with minimal resources. You don't have resources and that's about it, you are starting. I am not a believer of saying that I need $100,000 to start my company. Don't start. You are not going to help us in any way. Please don't start here. We don't need you. Thank you. Right? So when I met Kanwal Reiki, how many of you know Kanwal Reiki? Okay, Kanwal Reiki is the man who started TIE. He's the founder of TIE. I had a one-on-one recently with him. I'm not just trying to throw up some names, but these are all great experiences. I feel somebody whom I really respect and he's a great inspiration to me. So Reiki, I met him around 1.5 months ago when he came to Bangalore. And I asked him, in 15 minutes, you say that we should be able to define whether the startup is going to be successful or not. How do you do it? He said the first question I ask an entrepreneur is, why do you want to do this? Then the person says, I'm interested, this. No, you are not interested. So he says that the first thing I start with is negativity, because if you can't sustain my questions and answer, then you are doing the right thing. So it's very important, because when you start something, you will only hear problems. So a friend of mine who's a movie director in Tamil Nadu says that the failures is the one you should talk to people. Success everybody will know. That's the difference. It's very important, because in India, we are not taught to cope up with failures. From the colleges, from schools and from family, we are not. So the first thing my mom asked me, every time when I failed, she said, when are you joining in Infosys? Yeah, she thought that my life is going to be made. Right? So that's the way it is. So it's not, nobody can understand, not even your mother, wife, husband, nobody can understand what's going on in your mind. So if you see my signature, it says that experience is proprietary. You can never explain what's going on in your mind to anybody. That's not. See, that's another problem we have, but you've got to live with it. Right? So show leadership with family, friends and society.
What are the questions you said with Kanwal Reiki?
Kanwal Reiki, okay, I'll come back to you on that. So just ask me that again. So show leadership with family, friends and society. What I'm trying to do is that, see, now you've got to increase your, volume, right? So it's very interesting. So this way you will get to speak, you will understand how to do public speaking. So I am not talking about showing leadership in your office. I'm talking about showing leadership in your family and friends and society, because many of your friends may not have the experience what you have. So you got to take it up and move forward and then work around. There are 4 things I believe in strongly. It's personal goal, professional, financial. There are only 3 goals I come across people talking. Very few people talk about social goals. You got to understand that it's very important, because down the line when you start creating wealth, you realize that if you don't give back to your community or the society or where you are from, there is something in you which is missing. So if you want to complete that, you got to give back. The define your own style. Like the way you should have a long hair, you shave your head, you do this, you do that. It's very important for you to define. These days, I never wear shirts which are ready-made. I only stitch it. Because I've always been stitching. I can stitch clothes. I'm a carpenter myself. I do pottery. So it's only because of the interest. You got to understand what you like. You try it again and again and again. Then you realize that this is what I like. But maybe you will also realize that this is not what I'm interested in. Right? So it's very important for you guys to network, to understand. You get to meet people like interesting people like Ravi. Because he can help you in some way. Guys, for heaven's sake, smile. Everybody got to smile, right? It's very important you guys got to smile because it makes you feel happy. I was talking recently that Ashok Soota, the founder of Mindtree, has started a company called Happiest Minds. So we are working on some identity for him, and then he said that then we asked a couple of kids to say Happiest Minds technology. Every kid smile. Yeah, you just go there, go home, look at yourself in the mirror, and then say Happiest Minds. And he won it. He won you just with a name. That's a beautiful concept. And that age, he's starting today, that's remarkable. Right? I don't know how many of us can afford to do that. He has enough money, he has enough wealth. That's not about it. It's not about money, it's not about wealth. It's about what you want to do, what drives you in your life. Next one. This is very simple. I don't come across 99% of the companies following this, which includes, like Ravi said, large companies. Right? Today, Google is struggling. Why? Because semantic web is going to be the in thing. So Google's technology, if you ask me, is 10 years old. All it does is, if you type my name, some crazy thing comes. No, it has to understand what I'm looking for. Semantic web is a great idea. So I was talking to a couple of you guys today morning, and then that's the way to go. There is huge amount of opportunity in that space. What does it mean? How does it relate to this? You got to define a metric. Every time, it's not a day, month, or every single minute you got to define, this is what I wanted to do. This is the criteria I wanted to move on in my life. These are all the goals, unless until you put it down on paper. Simple paper, not on email, not on digital technology. You got to take it and write it down. That's the only way you move forward. So you got to define metric, you got to measure it. My dad said there are two ways to make sure that you have a balance between your mind and health. What is that? You got to do, for both you need a mirror. That's it. You don't need a gadget. You don't need an iPhone, right? All you need to do is that you got to, if you want to be healthy, you got to look at yourself naked in the mirror every single day. Try, you will become fit every single day. So how do you make sure that your mind is active? Look at the mirror and laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself not for the sake of laughing, right? So look at your, laugh at your ego. And that's the best way you become humble. It's very important because you got to, the difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman. Entrepreneur is the one who carry along people with him. The business owner is about himself or herself, right? So that's the difference. I'm very, very happy to see many of you guys on a Saturday morning and trying to listen to the boring stuff what I'm going to speak. Monitor, you all know that I don't want to talk about it. Next one. So, this is just the last few more slides. It's just taken me just 17 years just to be here with you guys. That's all. It just 17 years takes. So what is that success? I was talking to somebody in the morning. Success to me is competing with my conscience. I don't care a damn about competition, nothing. Nothing at all. Right? So it's about what I have done in my life. Is that worthwhile I've done? You all have the answer, right? Next one. It's a pretty long one. But it's not many points. I have to talk to you today about where I am today in my life. I'm very happy. Happiest minds. Right? So why am I happy? Because I'm happy. I made a choice to be happy. I made a choice. Every day I have a choice either to be happy or to be sad. So I prefer to be happier every day. So I started with 550 rupees in my pocket. That's not my money. My cousin gave me the money to register peppersquare.com. And then all I know is designs. And then I dive for designs. And I've never taken a loan from any bank. Never taken money from any VC. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you need money from somebody to start a company. I don't believe in it. Alright. So far, I'm very happy to say that the company is made today is because of its people, not because of me, it's because of its people and customers. I have to tell you that I have a customer listening to me today. That's the greatest thing. So that's Bharti from AXA. So she's listening to me. Thank you so much for coming in. So there are 12 entrepreneurs from Pepper Square in the last 8.5 years who were born out of Pepper Square. There are 2 guys who are doing the same stuff what we do, and I still mentor them. You got to be very open because there are enough opportunity for all of us. You don't have to fight around with that. You can become a next Facebook, next Google. But do you want to be Google? No, I don't think so. You should be something else. Yeah, Google will die in the next 15 years. It's going to be any other company. So, over 50 companies have been incubated in Pepper Square. I think we are the largest. I'm very proud of this fact because it takes, a lot of guys say that, we help startups. No, that's not the way it is. To work with a startup, you have to have a tremendous amount of persistence in action. Because they don't have the money, they cannot afford to pay you. So how do you do it? So we have done that over a period of time. We have worked with, there are more than 50 companies that are born out of it. Some of them have become $100 million company. They are all our clients today. So you need to look at long-term value. End of the day, it's all business, right? But you have to look at a long-term value. And then we are around 70 people and revenue with around $4 million this year with 35% profitability. Why am I talking about that? Profit means everything. If you have the money, you can fuel your passion. You can try it, you can fail, you can do whatever you want. So a friend of mine told me that, so what is that you wanted to do? I said that I have nothing to lose because I've lost all the money. Then he said that this is the right time for you to take enough amount of risk, right? So failure equals success. No, all that is just gyans, right? It's not like that. You got to go with the flow. Next one. Do you know who said this? Absolutely. There is no other man, there is no other better salesman I've come across than Gandhiji. Right? He's phenomenal. Why? He lived for his dream. He's a great example for living his dream. Any of you, how many of you have tried fasting for 7 days flat? Try doing it. Otherwise, don't even open your mouth. Try doing that. Absolutely. My yoga teacher, Javed, who's from Iran, says that whenever he teaches, he's not here, he's in Canada now. When he's teaching yoga, and he's Iranian, came here, learned yoga, and then he used to teach, right? So all the celebrities and everybody used to come. So one of the celebrities said that, I'm thirsty. He said that, you're not going to die for next 3 days. Nothing will happen. So just go there and do yoga, otherwise don't come here. It's about discipline. It's about, we are always want, greed, right? So, I met Pat McGovern, IDG founder. Patrick McGovern, one of the 18th billionaires in the world. I had a half an hour one-on-one with him. I asked him one thing. Pat, you're the only guy in America who went to China long time ago, 30 years ago he went. And I asked him, tell me about your experience. Pat said something fantastic. There you go, see. So Pat said something which is phenomenal. He said that I've invested in 350 companies in China, which no other individual or company in America has done that. So out of the 350 companies, when he met last year, when he came and did a survey inside IDG Ventures, 330 companies survived. 330 companies survived. Then he said that, in America, out of 100 companies, only 2 companies get funded, 3 companies get funded and only 1 survive. So why is that? So he was very intrigued and he went there. So he took up the 10 top worst companies which they have funded. So he started meeting people. So he met one of this founder of the company. He said, hey, you should have died long time back. He funded $3 million. How are you surviving? He said, I sold my house. Then he asked him, what do you mean by that? He said, there is nothing in my life than what my idea is. And today we are profitable. So in America, what's happening today is very sad that it's the greatest nation. I love America for that. And I go there very often. I have many clients. But when I go there and mentor, this is what I realize. America lacks engineering today for some reason and innovation. India lacks creativity. So we need to somehow kind of crowdsource this whole thing and merge together. Be very open about it. So there's huge amount of opportunities out there, right? So you got to understand that if you succeed, then you made it. If you succeed first time, wait for failures. If you fail for 7 times, if you succeed, it doesn't mean that it's not going to repeat. So failure can come again and again and again, right? So you got to be just open about it. Just go for it. It's one life. How many, you all think about, have you guys seen, anybody has a phone here? Can you give me your cell phone? Thank you, I will not screw it up. How many of you guys come across people doing every day? I'm sorry. How many of you guys come across, right? So many people do this, right? And they are always bothered about this. Why? We are so driven by things which are outside. You forget the simplest pleasure in life, which is starting your own company, which is the most easiest thing to do today. All you have to do is just quit your job and move on. That's it. That is all you got to do. So if your wife asks you or your mom asks you, what do you do? Oh, I'm still working there. You don't have to tell them. Yeah, I told my mom many times. Yeah, what are you doing? Oh, I'm earning enough money. Absolutely. So can you give me 10,000 bucks? Yeah, definitely next month. The next month has happened after 10 years. That's okay. Your mother can live. Hey, it's your mother. She can live without your money. Don't give me this bullshit that you have to take care of your family and all that crap. Right? Please, you are just fooling yourself. You're trying to find an excuse for not doing something. You got to get up, move your ass every single day. Have you seen your dog not wagging its tail? Every day. Why? Because there is no expectation. There's love coming in automatically. We don't do that. We human beings are the stupidest creatures in this whole freaking world. Because your mind, my dad always said, your life starts here, ends here. That's it. Right? So, next one. That's about it. That's for the man I was talking about. So I want to without him, we are all only talking. So after this, go there to Freedom Park. Just take it. 5 minutes. It just takes 5 minutes to just drive it there. Get out of your car or bike or whatever, just get out and then feel the fresh air and then come out, right? So I want to end this with the last one. One of my CTO, our Pepper Square CTO, Arjun, his son, he's 7 years old, his name is Pranav. So Pranav says that, you know how kids are, right? They are so excited, they have a lot of energy. The only thing is they don't channelize it, and that's the way it should be, because otherwise they won't learn, right? So we are all going there. If he's getting bored, then he'll say, Arjun, how long? That's all he says, right? So I wanted to ask you guys, how long you're going to be sitting and thinking, I want to start something, I want to do something. Move your ass, go on, it's one life. Thank you so much.